Hey guys, this is actually going to be a video response to my online friend quietbearr. That's bear with two R's at the end, so it's spelled Q-U-I-E-T-B-E-A-R-R. If you haven't already seen his videos, look him up, check him out. I think he makes fantastic videos. I really think he has a lot of original material. He's putting out videos that no one else here on YouTube is doing currently, and very informative videos. He recently did a whole series on different steels, the composition of them, kind of a breakdown and explanation of what things are and why they're good, why they're bad, things like that. And of course, it's a great help to anyone getting into the whole knife scene, whether you're getting into knives to collect them or to use them, or maybe a little of both. I just think he did a fantastic job putting those videos together to help people better understand more easily what different things mean. Someone just getting into the the whole knife scene might see something that says, this knife has D2 blade steel. And everyone's like, ooh, D2. And they're kind of like, well, what's that mean, D2? And I don't get it. So these videos are a huge help, and I'd like to personally thank you for all the people who don't comment, but they are thinking it, and they are very thankful for the information. But anyway, this is a video response, again, to quietbearr's video. Most recently, he made a video on his favorite steels and what he prefers in different categories of knives. I broke it down in 4 different categories, one being large fixed blades, another one being small fixed blades, folding EDC knives, and the last one, machetes or swords. Basically, the last category is anything over, I would say, I don't know, 12-inch blade. So again, it would fall into about machetes or swords category. And I think you had excellent choices in your preferred steels. I did comment on the video saying that there's just too many good steels to really pick one, or two even. But I did make a short list just for the video response. I thought it'd be good to get the ball rolling here. Hopefully people chime in and comment. And if you have a camera, I would encourage you to make a video response as well. Alright, so for large fixed blade, my preferred steel is 1095 or 1055 carbon. You had mentioned that you liked L6. Now, I've heard nothing but good things about L6. Problem is, I only have personal experience with it in that small pocket EDC knife from Kylie, that customized sword knife that he made. Kylie, if you don't already know or haven't seen my review on that, he's a member here on YouTube. He goes by the name Knives and Stuff. Check him out. But anyway, that's the only L6 knife that I've personally owned and have experience with. I think it's fantastic. I love it so far, I really do, but I don't have experience with that steel in a larger platform, such as a large fixed blade. I would imagine it would be, a superb steel, but like I said, I can only speak from what I've personally used before. So I'll have to stick with 1095 or 1055, really for the rigidity of the steels. They're obviously easy to maintain and sharpen. Even though they can rust easily, I've never really had a problem with it. I don't do extensive outdoor tasks with my fixed blades, but from personal use, it's not a really big deal if you do simple maintenance. Wipe them down if you're using something, cutting something wet, or if they get dunked in water. Dry them well and lightly oil them. It's really not that hard to do. But anyway, that's my preferred steel or steels rather in this case, for large fixed blades. Alright, small fixed blades. I have to go with A2 here. And there's one reason why I prefer A2, and that is Bark River Knife and Tool. All the models that I've personally owned from them have been in A2 tool steel, and I've loved them all. It's not just the steel, it's the fact they use the convex grind, and I just happen to love their models quite a bit. But I do find that it has great edge retention, good strength. I do like the A2 tool steel that they use. And that's really probably some of the only smaller fixed blades that actually use really heavy. In the past, a lot of my smaller fixed blades have been more of a collectible or experimental type knife. I would carry it for a little while, then put it back in a drawer or trade it, sell it, so forth. The only experience I've really had with real tough use is with those Bark River Knife and Tool models. The most two recent ones I've had is the full-size Canadian, which I think I did a review on. I use that in the kitchen often. Very often when I'm cooking, I'll break that out. I like to use that. As well as the Upland Special, which I used to have. I actually traded off, and that was probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, and I regret it. I missed the knife. I wish I would have kept it. But anyway, that's my preferred steel for a small fixed blade, A2. Folding EDC. Now this goes all over the place. You guys know that that's what I use the most. I'm really a folder guy. I'm not really a huge fixed blade guy. I use folding knives way more than I use fixed blades, so that's my preferred category. Like I said, this jumps all over the place. I've dealt with so many different steels, and I like them all. They all have their benefits. They all have their downsides, their pros and their cons. Of course, everything's going to be a balance, and people ask me all the time, you know, what's the best steel? And as Quiet Bear greatly put it, there is no real best steel. There's different steels for different jobs. You know, you don't want a really soft steel for something that you want to hold an edge forever. You don't want a really hard steel for something you're going to kind of thump on and you know, beat up because it's going to be a little bit too brittle for your needs. So there's a compromise. It really depends on what you're using your knife for. So for this, as an all-around general steel, I picked two, and that would be S30V and 154 CM. Now, I guess ATS 34 would also be in there because it's very close to 154 CM. More blades I've had at ATS 34 have been a little older. Benchmade and Spyderco both used ATS 34. I would say in the last 15 years or so, a lot of their models had been ATS 34. But then once you know, it got more recent, they stopped using it and they switched to 154 CM. I believe because it is a USA-made steel as opposed to the ATS 34, which is Japanese. Pretty sure that's accurate information. I'm not 100% on it, but anyway, that's what I think it is. So, like I said, S30V has been a favorite of mine. Obviously, you guys see it used all the time, not only in the production knives we see today, but many customs use it, and for good reason. It has great edge retention. It is a stainless steel. It is pretty strong, you know, so it's a good compromise. I prefer it. I like it quite a bit. Of course, 154 CM is a little more affordable. You'll see that in a little bit of a cheaper knife range, so I do prefer that as well. It's totally adequate. Just because I don't have S30V doesn't mean that I think it's crap. That's not true at all. I mean, AUS 8 steel and AUS 8A, all the other varieties, they're not as good as S30V, but you know, they get the job done. It's fine. You might have to sharpen a little more, but you know, big deal. All right, so last category is machete / sword. I don't use swords very often. I get a lot of requests to show reviews on swords. To be honest, when I was younger, I had probably 40, 50 swords. They were all junk. They were all, you know, flea market specials, China-made swords. They were cool, but they weren't quality. And when I got into really good knives, I started looking at swords, and I wanted to stick with that. But a really good sword is way up there in price. So, you know, I had to kind of just drop that as far as one of my hobbies. So I don't really deal with swords anymore. But I have to say, as far as machete goes, it's kind of in the same realm as a fixed blade or a large fixed blade. I want something that's not going to be super brittle or super hard. I still, again, prefer 1095 or 1055 carbon for my machetes. And I've dealt with that with numerous brands, Ontario, Cold Steel. There's a couple other ones that escape my mind right now. I believe Condor. I'm trying to remember what steel Condor had. I think it was a 1055. But anyway, that seems to be preferred. I happen to like it. It works. You know, so it gets the job done. So that's my my video. I tried to make it short, but of course I had a lot to say, so it wasn't short. But I'll take the remaining time here just to thank you again, Quiet Bear. I think you do a fantastic job on your videos. I certainly appreciate them, like many other people do. And I look forward to seeing more in the future. So like I said, hopefully this video response will get the ball rolling. And again, I encourage anyone with a camera to chime in and give your opinions. So once again, thank you so much, guys, for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.